My name is Emerson Sinclair. I'm a keyboardist, violinist, and songwriter, and today I'm going to be talking about how to overcome writer's block. So inspiration is often an elusive thing that we can't really force out of ourselves. So a lot of the suggestions in this video are just suggestions. They might work for you today and not for you tomorrow. They might work for somebody else and not for you. But this one's really not optional. The first one, you got to get enough sleep. A 2003 study at MIT found that sleep onset is the part of sleep where creativity happens, so the part where you're first falling asleep. And a 2009 study at UC San Diego found that REM sleep, the part where you're dreaming, is the part that makes creativity. I actually came up with most of the points for this video when I was first waking up in the morning. So nobody knows what part of sleep it is, I guess, but pretty much everybody agrees you gotta sleep. The second one is called incubation. Incubation is when you seed an idea beforehand, wait a couple of days, and then actually work on it. So for example, when I was in college, I used to find it helpful to read over a prompt for any paper that I had to write a couple days before. And then when I actually came time to work on it, I kind of had a couple days with it on the back burner. I kind of knew what I was going to do. Even though I hadn't really sat down and done anything yet, I'd had enough time. I kind of had a structure in mind. I had ideas in mind by the time I actually got there. And something that I probably should have done in college but didn't is carry something around to write that down when you have an idea. You probably won't remember everything you've thought of by the time you get there, so even if it's just in your phone, you're one of those people that likes to carry a notebook around, whatever. Just get it down, and by the time it comes time to actually work on the thing, you'll have a lot more ideas. Number 3, give yourself permission to write something that's bad. Perfectionism usually doesn't result in writing the best thing ever, usually just results in not writing anything at all. I think it goes a little bit deeper than that too. I think it's also that when people are so fixated on writing things that are good, they kind of get inhibited by their own values, really. They're not able to put as much of themselves into whatever they're writing as they would be if they kind of just let it go. And besides, sometimes things that are bad morph into things that are good. Just because an idea starts bad doesn't mean that it doesn't have potential. And even if it doesn't really go anywhere, that's okay. You don't have to show everything you've ever come up with to anybody. And if it's a matter of not wanting to look at your own work that you don't like, just remember that looking at other people's finished products is not a good comparison to looking at your notebook ideas. Everybody has a lot of stuff that kind of didn't go anywhere or, kind of maybe wasn't their best, and that's okay. That's just part of the job. Creativity can be really messy, and that's just a part of the process that you don't need to feel bad about. Number 4, find time to relax your mind. This is especially helpful. This is especially helpful if you're also doing the incubation method. A lot of people find that they get their best ideas when they're in the shower or taking a walk. They're doing something where their body's occupied but their mind isn't. And I think this is helpful when you keep in mind that you can structure the mechanics of the creative act but not the inspiration. So what I mean by that is, like, you can sit down. If I already know that I'm writing a piece and I want there to be 4-part harmony in a certain spot, it's kind of a mechanical process to sit down and write 4-part harmony. It's basically music theory, but I can't really structure when I get the idea to use the 4-part harmony in the first place. So it's usually helpful to kind of have a balance between, okay, I'm going to do things on these days, but those things are kind of going to be working out the ideas that I thought of in the other time. So taking time, kind of unproductive time, it's good for your mental health and it's also good for your creativity. Number 5 is do something with your left hand to stimulate the right side of your brain. I used to have a source for this like 10 years ago, but it seems to have disappeared from the internet, so I don't know if it works, it works. it might not work. I don't know if this is scientifically backed, but it's not going to hurt you to try, so there you go. Number 6 is know how deadlines affect you. Some people tend to like them. It seems to kind of kick them into gear and they get more done when they're under a little bit of pressure. Other people, that just makes them very overwhelmed and certainly not more creative. So know which one of those you're in. I personally tend to be in the deadlines are bad camp. So things that I've had suggested to me are just say, okay, I'm going to work on this for an hour today, or a half hour, or whatever is reasonable for your time frame and the thing you're trying to do. And that kind of tends to take the pressure off having a finished product. It tends to prioritize the doing instead of the having already done, which makes it a little easier to get started. I personally don't really like that method, though. I usually run into the same things that I run into with the deadline. So something that helps me is I just tell myself I'm going to do one thing, and that thing can be pretty small. It definitely shouldn't be a whole complex task. Usually once I've gotten going, I usually want to get more done than that because I'm kind of in the zone and I'm already going. But even if, the one thing was super draining and that's all you got in you, hey, you got one thing done. That's one thing you can check off your list. You'll be that much less overwhelmed. And then the last thing is that if none of those other things are really doing it for you, make sure that you are writing something that you really believe in and something that's true to the way you actually feel about what you're doing. So for example, the last thing that I really got stuck on was going to be a song about the apartment I just moved into. So the one I'm sitting in right now. And so it's in this old house, which is clearly used to be a beautiful house, but it's kind of run down now and it's just, there's problems with it. And I wanted to do this song about this like beauty and decay kind of thing. But that was just too cool. Like, that wasn't how I actually felt about the house. I was actually kind of down on it, and I just, it wasn't really flowing because I wasn't really being true to how I felt about the whole thing. So I kind of pivoted and I started honestly just writing about things I was frustrated about in my life, and I actually got a lot more out. So I hope some of that helps. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe and all that. And please let me know in the comments if you found any of this helpful, or if you found any of it notably unhelpful, or if there's anything else that you'd like me to talk about. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.